Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first episode of Hoenn TV, an all-new competitive Pokemon-focused podcast. I'm here today with the first guest, AttackOnSamurott, fellow YouTuber. We've collaborated before. I thought it was only natural that he be the first guest on the show. We've been chatting about this for a while. Glad to finally get it going. AttackOnSamurott, how are you today?
Bro, I'm feeling great, man. I feel fantastic, man. Jeez.
Excellent. All right, folks. So this podcast, I'm going to interview players, get to know them a bit, get to know their competitive mentality, that kind of thing. I thought I'd chat with AttackOnSamurott. He's a fellow content creator. We got a lot of similarities, I think. So AttackOnSamurott, that's a pretty long name. Is there something shorter I can refer to you as?
Samurott, Attack, AOS, Rot. Yeah, that's pretty good. I like Attack though. Attack's pretty nice.
That sounds pretty sick. All right, we'll go by Attack because that's cool. Attack. When did you start with competitive Pokemon?
It's a long story, man. Long story. All right, so you want to talk about like when I started playing Pokemon in general?
Yeah,
or
we'll go
really
back
just
to the
competitive?
when Pokemon was fun when you were a kid.
Before we knew about the bullshit about calcing shit and actually taking games seriously. All right, here we go.
Exactly.
Gen 4 was technically my first real Pokemon game. Then it was Gen 3 afterwards or something like that. It was kind of a weird it was kind of like a weird time frame because like 2000 when I got like the first game I got was Sapphire, and I got Sapphire somewhere around 2005 or 2004. I'm not too sure, but I got that first. I don't remember what I did in that game. My brother, he also like played Pokemon too, and he kind of was the one to really get me into it, and he played it a lot more than I did. I only played it occasionally, but yeah, Sapphire was, one of the first Pokemon games I got into. Then really that was when I started to play, Gen 4. Gen 4 was my like I don't really know how to describe it, but that's like my Magnus opus or whatever. That's my shit, bro. Gen 4 is my shit. I love Gen 4. I love everything Gen 4.
Yeah, Gen 4 was really massive when it came out. It was a big step up.
It was the turning point. It was one of the big turning points for Pokemon. Thinking about it, like I remember like the day I first saw Chimchar, Turtwig, and Piplup, man. Like it was crazy, man. This had to be like 2006, 2007. Like I remember looking at the TV, bro. You're striking like you're hitting a chord that's like so old, bro. Like a hella old chord, cause during that summer that the Diamond and Pearl anime was premiering, there was like a whole marathon that happened that year where it played where like Cartoon Network, they played like every season all the way up until the first episode of Sinnoh. Like that summer, I can never ever forget that summer, man. That was a magical summer,
That's
bro.
good marketing. The hype, setting it up for Gen 4.
But I remember getting Diamond. Diamond was the first one I got.
Same.
I got Diamond. Yeah, like Diamond. The reason why I got Diamond was because I thought Dialga was cool.
Dialga is cool, and we made the better choice because he's like top tier in Gen 4 Ubers. So
exactly. Like 7-year-old, 8-year-old me, I knew what I wanted.
I thought Dragon Steel was such a cool type combination. Like
exactly, and not only that, but Dialga's design just looks way cooler than Palkia's. To me, anyway.
I have a funny memory of Gen 4, actually. I remember, like, before it came out, we were at this restaurant, me and my family, and we saw, like, must have been, like, a Japanese kid who was playing Pokemon Diamond, or, like, he had it early, and it was in Japanese, and me and my brother were just, like, looking at it, like, holy shit, he's got Pokemon Diamond. We were just, like, trying to sneak looks at what he was doing without being weird, but it was like, oh my god, he's playing it, and we were so jealous. There was so much hype around that, wasn't there? That was a good time. I kind of forgot about that.
It was. Bro, man, 2007, like that period between 2006 and 2007 was the hype moment. Like that was the hype period.
There was also, I don't know if you were into all the Smash Bros. Brawl like hype, but that was crazy too.
Oh yeah. That was too. That was when I got my first Wii. I got the black one.
Oh yeah. It's funny how like Brawl is like the least liked Smash game now, but back when it was coming out, it was so hype. Like, it was the coolest shit in the world.
Yeah, like I remember like first playing the game at my cousin's house, and we were just just messing around, really, just playing with different characters. Like I remember I think Lucario might have been the first character that I played the most. Lucario just looked cool to me then. Still is a cool looking mon. Honestly, like Brawl's story, like the submission
was
or whatever,
so cool.
Sub-Zero
that
mission.
was so fun.
Yes, bro. That was like the highlight of Smash. Yeah, you can talk about like the story in what's it called, in like World of Light or whatever for Smash Bros Ultimate, but like I don't think that can ever top Subspace.
Nah, Subspace was awesome with the cutscenes. It's like a full fan fiction story going on. It's awesome.
Exactly. It was one of the coolest like stories, honestly.
Yeah.
Like I've been hearing some rumors about a Smash Bro movie coming, or like being like planned or like in development or something. And like if they do that, the only way I could see that happening is if they set it up like the Avengers, where they have like solo movies, like a Mario movie's coming out this year, and we already have Sonic.
No way they're gonna do like a like an Avengers with all the video game movies. That would be crazy.
Bro,
that'd be fun.
That would be insane though.
That'd be funny.
But could you imagine like the legal battles are gonna be happening with that? Like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Sakurai already had enough to do with that. Like, oh my goodness. I think we've been off topic though.
We're definitely off topic. Absolutely.
Let's
bring it back to Pokemon. No worries, man. That was a fun little trip down memory lane.
It was. I enjoyed that trip.
So I've chatted with you a bit before. So I guess you got into competitive around, like, you probably just found some YouTubers. Which I think was similar for me. I found some YouTubers playing Pokemon Online back in the day. And Wi-Fi battles.
Yeah. For me, let's see. 2012, or that time period, like 2011, 2012, that was when I actually learned about YouTube. That was like what, 10, 11 then? Cause yeah, like for y'all, like, well, I'm pretty sure everyone who's watching this is like around our age, or like older or whatnot. But like, for kids like nowadays, like they just have the internet like access like everywhere, But like for me growing up, like 2011, like 2010, 2011, that time period, that was when I first discovered YouTube. And at that time, I think I remember just like watching a lot of like random videos, and even watching my first Let's Plays. So I remember watching like Leroy. I remember watching Super Skarmory, John Parlamongo, when he first started playing Black and White. The Japanese version, by the way. So like, I remember the Dennis memes. I remember Dennis.
What is that?
So he had a Blitzel in the Japanese version, and he named it Dennis.
Oh yeah.
And I remember that that I think he tried to grind it up, try to actually like level it up to the rest of his party, but he kept sacking it. He kept like letting it die. so I think every time he let it die, he always just screamed, "Dennis!"
Oh, that's like a YouTuber moment. I could see that.
Yeah. Oh man, that was some good times. But I didn't start watching Shofu until a little bit later on. I'd probably say like maybe 2013, 2012. That's when I started to know about him then. Yeah, I didn't know about Joey until like a little bit later.
And when did you start like entering tournaments and taking the game more seriously?
Oh, that was really, let's see, it's 2022 now. I'd probably say that was like 5-6 years ago. That's when I actually started to take it seriously. Yeah. I know I guess I'm more like a late bloomer when it comes to doing tours, but I didn't really play on Pokemon Showdown that much until really 2015, 2016. Because before I would just be on my DS, on my 3DS. Well, actually I had a 2DS. But yeah, I'd be playing on that, and I would just be getting Wi-Fi battles through that. Wi-Fi battles, back in Gen 6, that was some of the most exhilarating stuff back then.
I had a brief era of playing VGC. I remember doing Wi-Fi battles just to practice for the tournament. It was a bit fun, but I do miss like the Showdown UI. You have to like, when you play VGC, you have to get like a notepad and write down whenever they reveal a move or something. or when you figure out what their item is, and that shit gets annoying. But I had to practice doing that because I wasn't used to it because I played Showdown. Back in the day, in like Pokemon Online, they didn't have as much of the UI stuff. Like you can hover over the mon and see their speed, like speed range and possible abilities, and when an item's revealed that shows what item it is. Those features weren't always there in PP. I remember having a track that I would just type in the chat like heal bell 8 out of 8, 7 out of 8 in like the chat box to track that stuff.
Man, like I feel like so bad. Well, not bad, but like I feel like I missed out when I didn't play Pokemon online. I really wish I got into that era. I think I would have, I don't know, maybe I would have been like better than I am now and had a more understanding of the meta, or really of just playing competitive in general. But still, I feel like I missed out on that experience. And Pokemon Online was around like what, 2012?
I was playing in like 2009 or 10 or something.
Ah, right.
So when Black and White 1 was out.
Oh, okay, so that's when it really started.
I can't actually remember if that was the exact time, but I remember being in early high school. Like a friend of mine was like, dude, I found this thing you can play Pokemon online and you can just like, you don't have to catch the Pokemon, you can just build whatever team you want. I was like, that's awesome. But he was kind of a bastard. Like he knew all the competitive stuff, he knew about EVs and everything, and he didn't tell any of us, so he kept beating us and we didn't know why.
Wow, that's messed up.
And then like he was always better than us at games. Like he was really sick at StarCraft 2 and like Counter-Strike. And then I eventually like on my own found out about Pokemon stuff, like EVs, all that. And I remember like my first team ever was like a shitty Hail team with like all the Hail synergies like Glaceon, Frostlass, Abomasnow. I think Whaleren had an Ice Body. And he was just running like a meta Rain team with like Politoed, Tentacruel and all that. And I think I beat him with my shitty Hail team, but he got really pissed off.
You got to put that man down. You gotta tell him his boss.
He was like, dude, bullshit, man. It's not even like meta stuff.
Well, you had a Abomasnow on that, right?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, yeah, Abomasnow just bodies that anyway.
Yeah, Hail wasn't bad back then, actually. But I think it was built differently to what I was doing, because I was like all ice types, which is so shit. But whenever you first build a team, it's something like that. You're just like, what synergizes with this one thing? Like, just chuck in all the sun synergies on a team or something. Yeah,
pretty much. Same typing, they all work in the same way, technically. There was also like Net Battle too that I heard about. That was like, way back.
There was also before Pokemon Online, there was something called Shoddy Battle, which is for Gen 4. Too. So there was stuff even before Pokemon Online.
Yeah. Again, I really wish I got into that era. Like, I really wish I got into playing Pokemon Online. But it is what it is.
I mean,
I got the Showdown anyway. But, go ahead.
If I knew about Net Battle when I was a kid, I would have loved that, I think. I remember there was like Pokemon Crater. I don't know if you were familiar with that.
Crater? Whoa, I've never heard of that.
It's some browser-based game, and it was kind of similar to Showdown. You can like just pick a team, and they're all level 100, I think. Oh. And it was weird. You're in like a Pokemon world with like the sprites and stuff, and you can like move up and down, but every time you do, it refreshes the page and reloads, and then your character moved up. Like, it was pretty shit. But I don't know if that's around at all anymore, or like what that even was. But
well, for the people out there, they can try and search it for us and find out if it still exists.
Yeah, I got a vague memory of playing that in my school library and battling a friend. I had like Primeape and Butterfree or some shit. I don't know. That was fun.
Since you were mentioning your first team, I remember one of my first teams. Got on my first online battle back in Gen 5, and it was like right towards the end of Gen 5. So I was online. I remember the first game I saw. The first game I saw was somebody using Whimsicott plus Terrakion. That was my first game online.
Isn't that a doubles thing?
Yeah, it was a doubles game. Yeah, that was my first time online.
They like beat up their own Terrakion?
Mm-hmm.
That shit's bullshit.
Yeah, it is. I lost, obviously. But yeah, like, that was really where I started to test some teams when I was just getting started into playing competitive. Like, I remember one of the first mons I'd build around. I think I built around Volcarona and Umbreon and like Muck. It was like some really weird stuff.
Muck rounds out that core very well.
I just really like mess around with any mon really back then. But yeah, man, like X and Y really was really where I started building and starting to like figure out different strategies and whatnot and what I wanted to do. Of course, I wasn't good at battling then. I was really just starting to like get my feet wet and trying to understand like how this works and everything. But yeah, again, my main like experience came from watching Twitch streamers. That's really where I started to understand more about how to use mons better and whatnot, and just how to play and everything. Now a lot of the streamers I watched back in the day. So again, this is going like 2013, 2014, 15. Again, XY or Ass Meta. I saw a lot of Twitch streamers. There's a couple name drops I have. There's Shofu, of course. There's also another streamer I remember playing against named Cali Sweeper. And Cali Sweeper, I think he was probably one of the best ones, like one of the best competitive players like on Twitch at that time. Because this guy, the way he played, like bro was like a monster, man. Like he brought a lot of the heavy hitters in ORAS. Like he brought, of course, like the Latioses, the Mega Metas, the Akeldios. Like he brought everything, man. Brought everything at that time. And me not understanding what the meta was, I was just trying to figure out, like what is this guy doing? Like these mons are strong, man. But then I also saw like the other guys in the Twitch call or in the Twitch stream like playing against him. They were kind of doing the same stuff too. They were running some pretty offensive stuff as well, and just running and Twitch viewers like me just running some like random stuff. But I do remember playing him. And I actually beat him, I think. I beat him one time. I don't remember the team I had, but I think I might have had like a Rotom or something or a Mew. But at that time, I also was starting my YouTube channel too. And I was recording myself playing against these Twitch streamers. So I think out of all the Twitch streamers I played against, I think I've beaten like I think maybe 3 or 4.
Nice, dude. Yeah, I guess that's a good like goal to strive for when you first start, and a good way to learn too. Watching someone else, getting a sense of the metagame. That's cool.
Yeah, and even playing like tours too, because I remember that there was a tour that one Twitch streamer had. I think his name was Oslov. I think I actually played in his tournament.
Oh, dude, I've met that guy. Briefly.
You have?
I think so.
Yo, that's sick. Oh, that's cool, man. What was it like?
I played against him in a VGC tournament, I think. Because he wouldn't know me or anything, but I had it was VGC 2017 or something, where you were allowed to have Ubers. And the way it ended was like, clicked knockoff on his Tapu Fini, thinking it would kill, and he was left on like 1 HP or something, and then he moonblasted me, and I was like, fuck, if I just sucker punched him. I was like thinking if the extra power at sucker punch would have been worth it. And it turns out that 5 extra power would have been enough to get there, and I was just kicking myself for that.
Damn.
And I think he was running some wacky stuff. He had like Xurkitree and all this stuff, and it was a weird game where like I feel like I didn't play that bad, but he just happened to live everything.
Damn.
And yeah, that kind of plagued me for a bit, but I mean, he was a good player, so it's fine. And he played well too.
I don't think I ever played him before. I remember getting prizes from him though. Like he threw out prizes like candy, bro. Like he had like a whole wonder trait streams and everything. It was a very cool time. But yeah, I do remember playing in one of his tournaments, and I think I made it to finals or semifinals. I don't remember exactly. But yeah, I remember playing against one guy. His name was Gustavo, and I think I beat him, and I think he was the semifinalist too. So I think we were at the finals at that point, and I beat him, and I ended up winning that tour.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man. That was my first tournament win.
That's a good moment.
It was. I think the prize I got for it was a Darkrai, a shiny Darkrai. That was definitely one of the best experiences. One of the best experiences I had. Getting into competitive, playing against Twitch streamers. Like,
awesome.
If I could do it again, I would. Honestly, thinking about it, I've been thinking about getting into Twitch at some point, because I actually want to try and relive that, play against other like Twitch viewers. I think that'll be sick, but obviously I don't know how to really set it up. And another thing is that Like it won't be the same feeling that I had while playing like on the DS or even playing on the Switch.
I don't know. You can't recapture the magic that you felt back then, but that's fine. I mean, it's still the same game. So I would recommend streaming. I've streamed a bit myself. I should probably do it more often. Pokemon's a good stream game, I think. It's interactive. It's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but the problem with it is though, like, you know, with setting it up with OBS, like when I do my videos, like I always have my OBS set up where I can do my Showdown lives, but I don't know how that would translate to streaming. I don't know if I'd have to actually like hit the streaming button for it to work, or if I could just, you know, do it like I usually do. But I don't think I can work that way. Not too hard.
I could help you out if you want.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's easier than you think. So let's talk about like modern day your Pokemon goals for the moment. Like,
oh, my goals right now.
I've seen you competing in some of the Pokemon Perfect Opens a bit. I don't know if you've been doing that recently, and like maybe the Smogon tournaments. What are you up to recently? What formats are you focusing on? Like, what's your favorite format at the moment?
That's a lot of questions, man. That's a lot of questions. All right, well, let's start with current stuff. I've been working a lot on current gen Gen 8 NU. Current gen 8 NU is probably my favorite meta right now. That and also RU as well. Like I love playing Gen 8 NU and RU. Like those are the most fun for me compared to like OU or compared to OU, which OU is some shit, man. I've been preaching this I've been preaching it since I really want to say since the meta really started, since Gen 8 really started. But like I don't enjoy OU that much. It just doesn't seem that fascinating to me. Like occasionally I'll come back, maybe like a month, maybe a couple months afterwards. But then I play it for like a week or two, and then I'm just like, nah, this ain't it. Not feeling that anymore. And then I just go back to playing lower tiers.
Yeah.
The cycle continues just like that. Yeah.
Like I've always preferred old gens to current, but even in Gen 6 and 7, I tried to play current OU. But Gen 8, I actually just straight up couldn't do it. I now focus on old gens because Gen 8 OU is so trash. Like.
Yeah. No, I feel you. I understand completely. Like. It was such a turnoff. It really was such a turnoff. Like 2019 when it first dropped, I was just like, oh, okay, there's something going on. That was like the first 3 or 4 months. Then Dynamax got banned in like the first month or two. Actually no, it was like the first 2 weeks, I think. First 2 weeks it got banned in OU, something like that. But yeah, it got banned there, and then people started to use some more like some bulky stuff. And then it got really boring then, because like the Sword and Shield Dex is terrible, man. Like it didn't have a lot of very colorful mons to really mess around with. It just felt very like stale to me when it first started anyway. But then, you know, when the DLC came out, it started to like brighten up a little bit, but still it still doesn't feel right to me. Even when even like watching other people play. Like I don't know if you've been watching Joey and Blunder like play a lot on the OU ladder, but like even when I see them play, it still doesn't look that interesting to me because a lot of the teams just look very similar to each other in terms of like structure. Because like you always see something with like future sight port, or you always see like boots aren't really that big of an issue compared to how it was like months ago, but it just doesn't look that versatile to me. It just looks like a lot of the same cores.
My problem with it is the fact that they got rid of hidden power, I think, is such a bad choice. Because that is so important for the metagame, like, to have that catch-all option for, like, threats that get out of control.
Yeah, exactly.
And it also just restricts creativity. It's just a bad choice. If they think, like, the whole IV system of it was too annoying for the average player, just make it so you can just get hidden power at 60 or 70 base. Like, and you could just choose what type it is or something. Somehow, like, talk to an NPC. Like, why not just do that? But obviously, it's easier for them to just remove it. Like, it's less work.
And remove Pursuit, too. But that's a whole nother, like...
The fact that, not only did they nerf Steel to be neutral to Ghost, and they got rid of Pursuit, means Ghost is kind of busted now. Like, Ghost, it feels so annoying.
Yeah, Dragapult is, like, top 10 mon right now.
I hate Dragapult. That guy's such a bastard. And like, I remember when Gen 8 was new, I was running Specs Aegislash. Like, I just thought of that. Like, couldn't I just spam Shadow Ball? You don't even need another move right now. and it was fucking broken.
Exactly.
And then other people started
Yeah.
running it.
It was that good. Still is that good. But the meta's kind of adapted to it
Yeah.
now, but still, ghost types are very good. They're at, this is like, if they nerf ghost somehow, this meta will be known as the ghost type meta. Like Gen 8 is just ghosts everywhere. But yeah, like ghost types are living their best life in this meta right now. And I mean, I don't blame them. They've kind of been getting shat on like all 7 gens.
I don't know, like Ghost is a pretty good type, to be honest,
Oh.
and like Pursuit kind of keeps it in check, I think, because it's a powerful idea. It has 2 immunities. Like I would say that Ghost types were in a good position in like Gen 3, 4, 5 or something, because back then
Yeah.
spin was still relevant. There's like a few Ghost types in those formats that are top tier and really good, and it's, I don't know, I don't think it needed to be buffed to such an extent. I think types should have an identity, you know?
I agree. But yeah, man, I don't know why they got rid of Pursuit. Apparently it was like some kind of what's the word? Some kind of technical issue that they had, like some coding issue with
really?
Pursuit. I mean, it's not like Pursuit hasn't had this before, because apparently there was another issue like that back in Gen 4, where if you pursued something in the rain or like in sand with T-Tar, there would be like some kind of glitch, and it would make like acid rain or something like that. It was a very weird glitch that
I've heard of
happened.
that,
But
yeah.
Pursuit has like some weird like technical issues. So maybe they had some issues with it in the game, or like while programming it. I don't know. But if they ever bring that move back, which I hope they do, actually, you know what? Nah. How about this? If they're not gonna bring Pursuit back, just make like another version of it. Like
Yeah.
like apparently they have this ability, or there's an ability in the game called Stakeout, and Stakeout allows you to actually hit the opponent while they switch out. So they should honestly just, make that ability more widespread, so that way other mods can actually use it.
Well, that sounds almost
Useful.
broken. Like that's a trapping ability.
Yeah,
Crazy.
pretty much.
I could see that getting banned, but I guess it depends on the mon that has it, right?
Exactly. But yeah, just do that or something, or just again make another version of Pursuit if possible. But yeah, Pursuit really is like one of the biggest like changes to the current gen. Like not having that means that ghost types just go crazy. And technically Pursuit is already in another meta called Nat Dex, like National Dex.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's there, but again, I haven't looked at that meta since I think last year. So I don't know if that's still being used or not, or if Pursuit's actually being like used there. But apparently it wasn't good enough because Dragapult got banned. So but Nat Dex has like a whole other like thing going on. They got like Z moves. They have everything there. So it's kind of a crazy meta in itself.
Yeah. I haven't played it myself, but yeah, I can imagine it's pretty nuts to balance that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there was another question you wanted me to answer. You wanted me to answer about like the other metas I've been playing, or like wait, was it other tours or like other metas? I think you mentioned tours.
Yeah, like what are your goals at the moment? Like what are you focusing on in competitive?
For tours, I mean, you and me already talked about it, but I did play in the NU Open recently, and I had a very tough match against Finchinator. I will be doing a video about that. I actually was going to record that before I wanted to talk with Jim. So probably after this, I will be making a video about that. So if you guys are interested in that, check it out. Of course, shameless plug.
No worries.
But yeah, I played in that. Then I signed up for DBP Global, and I got 2 matches for that coming up sometime. Well, actually, I have one coming up tomorrow, because it's double elimination. So I have 2 opponents to play. So I have one coming up tomorrow, and then I might have one coming up next week. Since the matchups end by the 17th, so I'm gonna try and get both my games in as soon as I can. So yeah, I'm playing in DPP Global, and then I'm also playing in RBY Open for Pokemon Perfect. So I'm gonna play in that and see where that goes.
Nice.
And yeah, and then ADV. I do want to get back into doing tours for ADV, because I haven't done an ADV tour since I think September or October. So it's been a long time since I actually played in an ADV tour. So I'm gonna wait until the end of the month, because that's when the next one's coming up. um, ADV Open, and potentially ADV Global whenever that opens up too. So I'm gonna try, like get my feet wet into ADV again, because in case you guys don't know, I love ADV. That is my favorite old gen.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I love ADV so much. Like, when it comes to old gens, I think for a lot of people, I think the exposure came from BKC. Like, I think it largely came from BKC, honestly. Like, during quarantine, man, like that time frame, that time period was something else, man. 20 March 2020, that was my time. That was my time to play old gens, and I knew the moment I started playing old gens, I would just be addicted. I would be addicted to it.
Yeah, I really appreciate the fact BKC brought so much attention to it. I've always liked
Exactly.
DPP and ADV, but it felt hard to like invest time into them because they're more niche, and there's like the ladders aren't very active. It's easy to just play current. Like I would in Gen 7, I would often like build teams in Gen 3 and 4 and even 5, try stuff out. But it was more like the occasional ladder game. I could not justify like focusing on it as my main gen. But now I think I can. Like the community's kind of great for ADV at the moment. There's
Yeah, it's very.
so many tours happening. You got like Mushi's ADV League, which is really good to get regular tournament games. Pokemon Perfect has pretty frequent opens. Like back then, it was just the ADV Cups. There might have been other stuff, but I wasn't aware of it. It was harder to get into it, and it was like every few months I can play an ADV Cup or something. And like the ladder's just pretty dead. So it's cool that now.
And now it has a lot more exposure. Yeah, I'm actually very glad that BKC opened up this new side to Pokemon, because like, again, if I hadn't known about old gens, I probably would have just stopped playing Gen 8, honestly. Or I mean, yeah, I probably would have just like taken a break really from playing like Mons. But thank goodness old gens do exist. So I'm very happy I have the experience to play that now. I do wish though before quarantine I had known about old gens beforehand. But I'm just glad I know about it now. So you wanted to ask about my experience with old gens, right?
Yeah, I guess you answered how you got into them
Oh,
just then.
well, I mean, I was gonna go further, like talk more about that if you're okay
Yeah,
with
sure,
it.
go for it.
So would you really no? I was gonna say, would you consider like Gen 6 and Gen 7 still an old gen, or no?
People refer to them as fairy gens, which I like.
Right.
Like,
Right.
I guess I classify like Gen 1 to 5 as old gens in my head, but Gen 6 and 7 are old gens too, I
Right.
guess. But they're like modern as well.
Well, I think you could argue Gen 6, because apparently Gen 6 is already on like the Pokemon Perfect thing. So like they already like have it set there.
Yeah.
So technically that would
In my head, it's still
but
pretty new, but I guess it has been like ages, hasn't it? Time flies.
it's been almost 10 years. It's been almost 10 years since Gen 6 came out, which is crazy.
Yeah, Jesus.
It's been 9. Yeah. Man, started Gen 6 back in high school. Jeez. Freshman year. So technically I did have experience in Gen 6 and Gen 7 when it came to playing like tours, because I did play for Smogon Tour. I played a lot in that. I played in for Smogon Tour for 2017 and 2018. And I played a lot of I was playing like Gen 5, Gen 6, and Gen 7 during the Smogon Tour period. So
Cool.
Yeah, I got fairly far in a couple of them. I think the furthest I might have gone is like round 3. Round 3 or round 4. But yeah, I got fairly far in those. Sometimes I would get paired with like some pretty tough players. Like I got paired one time with Empo. I got paired one time with Luigi. A whole lot of different players, man. I think I even got paired one time with Lopunny Kicks. So it was yeah, I had a lot of different like I was playing a lot of different players. A lot of like fairly like top tier players too. So I had like my what's the word I'm trying to say? I guess I had my rounds against them. But yeah, I didn't really make it that far. Oh, I also played Eden one time too in one of the Smogon tours as well. And I think it was for Gen 5 at that time. But yeah, just played a lot of tours, man. A lot of Smogon tour. That's really where it started to come from there. Just started to get addicted to that. Getting into actually playing, more of the old gen tours, like again ADV, RBY, and even GSC and all. I think ADV was really the furthest I've gone, or really the furthest that I think I could have gone. In terms of like compared to the other. Well, no, GSC was actually pretty close. Was actually pretty close too, but ADV I think was like my proudest moment. When I made it to I think round 3 or 4 of ADV Global, where I played some pretty tough people. I think I played what's her name? Alice, I think that's her name or their name. I apologize. I think it's like Alice. I think I played Alice. I played Roxy. Then I played Solwyn. I played Solwyn at one point, and then I also played Winter Rains. So I played a lot of different players at that time, but I really did enjoy playing at that moment because I felt like that was like the highest I've ever gotten in ADV so far at that time. So I enjoyed it a lot. It was a fun experience then. But yeah, I didn't make it that far in RBY or GS or again GSC. That was like months later, like many months later, where I played in a GSC Open, and I think I almost got to semifinals at one time.
Wow, nice.
Playing that. Yeah. I was fairly good at playing GSC. I think I got lucky too at some point.
GSC mains are like the most patient players. When I play GSC, I get, even if I'm in a good position, I feel like I just get outgrinded or like outplanned or something. I remember.
Now you gotta take your time with that. You gotta take your time with that, man.
Like I had a jinx against a Raikou or something in one GSC 20 game, and I thought it was like, yes, I'm subbed up against this Raikou. He can't do anything. He just has to keep resting.
Yeah.
But then I just realized like, holy shit, he's stalling all of my Ice Beam PP. And then like I wasn't getting any crits or drops or anything. I was like, dude, this guy is just knows something I don't, and I just lost. Because in like, I don't know, ADV or something, if you're in a position like that, you know, it's really good. But GSC's just very different. It's a lot stallier.
Yeah, well, I don't think stalls are, well, yeah, well, bulky is the better word. Stall is like, yeah, stall is like in a weird situation, in like a weird spot. Apparently, like I think I was talking to I forgot who I was talking to. I think it was M Dragon. Somebody was mentioning about how, you know, GSC, when it comes to stall hasn't really been in the meta like that since like 2012 or something like that. Not too sure, but I think that might have been his words on that.
Okay.
But like the meta is just very offensive. Like it may not look like it because games do last long, but the meta is clearly an offensive one.
Yeah, I guess I don't mean stall in a like archetype sense of like full stall, because then you obviously run threats on every team, you know.
Like again, it may not look like it, but the meta is very.
I guess
offensive.
I mean that you can find sort of stalematey situations, or situations like I was in where it can come down to PP, or it's like this sort of weird. So you got to know the meta to understand, I guess.
That and the mechanics.
Yeah. I'm not knocking the meta. I actually really like GSC, but yeah.
Yeah, like knowing these little things, like knowing about like Marowak, you know, boosting its attack to a certain extent. Same with Snorlax with cursing up with it to a certain extent. It's just a lot that you really got to like, you know, factor in really when it comes to GSC. It may not look like it, but the little things really matter in GSC.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, like I definitely enjoy it, and I'm gonna see if there's another GSC tour coming up if I can play in that as well. And then RBY. I think the closest tour I actually got far in was a tour that I don't know if anybody knows guy, but GG fan. He had a tour going on at one point, and I remember making it fairly far in that tour, and I think I actually made it to finals, and I was playing against him, and we had a pretty good series. Unfortunately, I didn't win, but I came like, you know, what's it called, runner up. So second runner up. So cool. You know, it felt pretty good though. Yeah, it felt pretty good playing in that tour. I don't know if his server still does tours anymore. I don't even know if it still exists. But yeah, it was just a fun little time playing in those tours. So yeah, if I could, you know, like expand on that and do my own tours and have it, you know, accessible to other players, I would do it. But unfortunately, well, I'm just not that known compared to other players. But again, I would love to do, you know, like more open tours and have more like people get in and play. Because, you know, you're only gonna get better the more you play. If you don't play, you're not gonna get better. So yeah. there is like a little bit of anxiety when it comes to actually playing. Like I have it too. I have it. I feel like that anxiety for me, I feel like that started really when I took tours more seriously. Like again, 2017, 2018, I took tours way too seriously then. Like I would just like I felt like I was playing well, and then I would freeze up and I would just mess up, and then I would just I would just choke because I didn't play to the way I should have. I didn't play to the extent I should have.
Sometimes that happens. Like, I don't know, you make one wrong guess, and then for the rest of the game, you're in your own head. Like, you don't know what decision to make because you're like, what if he does the perfect thing here?
That's exactly it.
I've been getting better at dealing with that, I guess. You got to not crumble as soon as one thing goes wrong because, it's in a long game. You got to understand that even if your position is like shit at the moment, you can always make like a big play and come back. And
exactly.
Don't let the mental momentum get you down. Don't let yourself tilt.
I think that comes from playing the current gens too, because like I don't know like how it is with transitioning from playing like current gen to old gen, or even vice versa. I'm pretty sure vice versa. It's probably like maybe it's easier to actually like play from old gen into new gen. Like if you've been playing like old gens for a long time and then you transition into new gens, I'm just kind of curious how well that would actually work. But the opposite, going from new gen to old gen, that's a very different like field for a lot of players, for a lot of like newer players.
Yeah.
Because it's like they're not gonna understand how to take their time, because like the older tiers, I'd say in my opinion, they're slower to me. Like you gotta take your time when it comes to this stuff. You don't want to really rush in and go crazy. Like
the other thing about Gen 3 is that health feels more like a limited resource than it does in modern gens, because modern gens have so many recovery mechanics like regen, even magic guard or recover. Like a lot of stuff gets recover and roost. Like Skarm doesn't even get a heal move. A lot of stuff doesn't get heal moves. So, and there's perma sand too. So you really got to, like in Gen 7 or something, it can be easy to just not even think about like how much health your Toxapex has. Just it doesn't matter. Like you got to think about that stuff sometimes. Sometimes health is limited, but in Gen 3 it really matters. Like you got to, it feels like a chess game sometimes. Like you got to determine which guy to keep healthy and which not to. Exactly.
Like it's all about preserving. Even with Gen 4, it's the same thing too. Like there are must-have recovery options, but at the same time, Gen 4 everything hits harder. Everything hits harder in Gen 4. You got to actually preserve your shit, because like if you don't, well, you're gonna end up getting swept by a Flygon, a Gyarados, a Dragonite, a T-Tar. Yeah, it's gonna be rough for you, buddy. It's gonna be rough for you. So yeah, it's all about preserving.
Yeah, the combo of rocks and permasand in Gen 4 makes it feel like pretty fast-paced and like hard to do like a balancy thing you would do in Gen 7, where like in Gen 4 you're really under pressure like at all times.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Like it's very hard for them to understand that, because again they're just used to everything living, or well, not everything living, but again like what you said, recovery options being on like every mon. So it's tough for them to really transition to that period.
I myself was not super into Gen 3 at first because of how different the mechanics are. Like no Fizz special split and like completely different move pools and everything. Skarm not having Roost was weird to me when I first played, because I came from Gen 5 and 4. So, but I would say like also like Boom being broken, heaps of stuff is just wacky in Gen 3. I'd say to anyone who hasn't played Gen 3, like you should just give it a chance. Get over that stuff. Like even
it'll change your life. It'll change your life. It'll change your whole perspective on
I talk to people sometimes and they're like, I don't like that there's perma sand, and I don't like that I can't run like Crawdaunt with a physical water move or whatever, like Gyarados with a physical water move.
Yeah.
And it seems shit design at first. Like Gen 4 seems like a step up in every way with all the item variety. Yeah. The fact that Gen 3 has like no items. But I think what matters more is just the meta itself and the Pokemon and how they interact with each other. Like in Gen 3, it's just at a great power level. And I feel like all the top tier Pokemon have tools to handle each other really nicely. Even like something that's supposed to be a counter to a Pokemon, they can run a specific set to like counter their own counter. And there's just so many options you have, and the fact that there's less items means that you can build very specific sets that target very specific things and get away with it more. And I think that's very interesting as well.
The versatility is insane in ADV, and that's why I love it so much, because you can really do whatever you want.
Yeah, you'd think like a meta that's been around for so long, that has such a limited pool of Pokemon, would be like solved, but it really isn't. Like the meta evolves so much.
Exactly.
Like we've seen like
like it's
Charizard is now really good. Everyone's using Charizard.
But I mean, in general, I've noticed that ADV, like when it comes to fire types, like fire types just go insane in that meta in general. Like again, Moltres, Blaziken. Blaziken is a big one though. Like I feel like people really sleep on Blaziken too much. Again, Charizard we've already mentioned. So yeah, the meta's always like there's always like some level of evolution going on, and I'm just glad that the meta just doesn't really feel like dead. You know, that's a pretty big thing. It doesn't feel dead every time you play it. It always feels like something new's happening.
Yeah, I love building in it too. I feel like there's no shortage of stuff to build around.
Building an ADV is so fun.
It's actually so hard to build in at first because the meta feels so different. You need very specific things on your team. Like you need to have rock resists, and you don't check stuff in the same way as you would in like a modern gen, because you're checking very specific threats like Tar and Mence and Starmie and stuff like that. So you need answers to these like very key things, which is true. Like that's true in every gen, I guess, but I think it's more true in Gen 3.
Yeah, like having your rock resist so you don't get messed up by arrow in a late game scenario or in a late game scenario and whatnot.
It's a bit unintuitive at first, but once you understand the language of it, it really is fun to build in. It's more fun to build in, I think, than any other gen, because even just like Big 5 plus whatever is a fun archetype to build, because all those 5 Pokemon on Big 5 have so many different sets you can run. There's so many. You could run like some wacky Tar set or something, even if like it's just Tar, like it's the most standard Pokemon, but even Tar has so much variety.
Bro, I love T-Tar, man. Honestly, ADV made me appreciate T-Tar even more, because T-Tar, like, that Mon is just, it can do whatever it wants, and it won't fail at it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so good at what it can do. DD sets, mix sets, like taunt stuff, like, this Mon is just anything, man. Suit sets, like, I love T-Tar.
It's a great number one Pokemon to have in a meta, because you look at other number 1 Pokemons like Landorus T or something. Landorus T is pretty one-dimensional. There's a couple different sets.
Yeah, very.
But it's just like...
actually, no. No, hold on. I feel like I gotta defend. You can do a lot with Lando.
I don't even hate Lando T that much, but, you know, it's either like there's the standard rock set, this Scarf, and then there's like Double Dance. That's kind of it. Like, I don't know. There's a Z move set in Gen 7.
I mean, Lando can do way more, man. It's a very versatile Mon in that way. I'll be honest. I didn't like it either. I still don't like Lando, but I gotta appreciate it. I gotta look at it and be like, man, I don't like looking at you, but I have to use you because you do too many good things for my team.
I don't hate Lando. I'm just comparing it to Tar, where I think Tar is a lot more varied in how you can use it.
Even in AD, or not in ADV, my bad. Even in DPP, it like rose out of that. Like it does way more stuff, and that's just beautiful.
I like it in Gen 3 the most.
Really is.
In Gen 4, I think like with the addition of Physical Pursuit, I feel like most Tars just run that with a Type Berry. You can run a lot of different Tars at Gen 4, don't get me wrong, but there becomes one standard Tar set that most people gravitate towards in Gen 4. I like in Gen 3, there's not really... It's a bit subjective what the best Tar set is, right? Like, D-Dance is the most famous
Yeah, everyone's always debating about it, like, yeah.
My opinion is that it's like Bulky Fizz Tar 4 attacks, but then I saw some people in Discord say like, oh, that's like an overrated Tar set. It's not the best. Mixed is the best. And I'm like, I suck at using Mixed.
DD is the best.
Yeah, but I don't know. I reckon in my mind it's Bulky Physical because it's a great check to Jirachi, which is kind of hard to check in my opinion, and it's the most generally slappable Tar in my opinion. Like it can fit on most teams.
No, I agree. I feel like for me personally, when it comes to my Tar sets, again, I like Mix and I like DD Tar the most. Physical Tar sometimes feels a little weird for me. I think really with Physical Tar, it just fits better on specific teams. You can't fit Tar on like any team for real, or that variant of Tar on any team in my opinion.
There is no answer to the question of what the best Tar is because it depends on the team. That's what's so good about it is that it is adaptable to different archetypes.
For me, again, like going back to DD Tar and Mixed Tar, like those feel the most splashable for me to actually like use. Physical Tar, again, like I can use it, but it just feels more specific for me compared to the other two. That's just how I look at it. Like honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I played Physical Tar like the worst compared to the other two variants, because like you can only bring that mon so far. You know, you can only take it so far with the physical attacking set, or I mean like just a 4 attacking set with it, because like you can only hit like so much with it. You can hit like the flying types and whatnot. You can hit the grounded mons with EQ and everything, but like I don't know, man. It just feels. Sometimes it just doesn't feel.
What I like about it is that with the health, it lives a lot of key hits like Mixman's Brick Break, Doug EQ. It feels like pretty safe turn 1 versus a lot of stuff. Yeah. I also like that it checks Jirachi, and I like that it threatens Blissey really well, even more so than like a DD set, which has limited health because it doesn't usually run leftovers. And yeah, exactly. You can't really switch DD Tar into Blissey very nicely because you don't want to waste your alarm. I feel like a bulky 4 attacks Tar doesn't mind like taking a para and then just threatening a focus punch against a Blissey sometimes. I also like the fact that you can focus punch Swampert on the switch in. Honestly,
focus punch is one of the best moves in ADV. I love using that move.
It's great.
Like it just feels good. It's like focus punch in this meta or in ADV. It just feels great to actually use compared to like other metas. But yeah, it just feels free.
I would say that Focus Punch is the most well-designed Pokemon move ever. And the fact that it's so prominent in ADV is like the testament to a good metagame. Because making a read that they're going to make a specific play is what Focus Punch rewards, I guess.
Yeah, like don't you just love the feeling when you fight like a lead Tar and then you just Focus Punch it?
I've never done that. That's a dangerous click, but if it pays off, that's insane. I don't think I've ever punch against a Tar. But that's nuts.
Bro, I would do it.
You reckon they're dancing?
I would do it.
I guess maybe they usually go Skarmory actually, so chunk the Skarmory.
Exactly.
Is good.
They go Skarmory, they go Furt. Yeah, like you punch whatever you want on the turn or on that turn. Like it
always feels a bit thrilling clicking punch, like, oh, I'm doing it. I'm clicking it.
It does. It does. Yeah, like
that's what you want to feel in a Pokemon game. There's those risk rewards, the scariness of clicking a certain move.
Sometimes Gar switches in if they're crazy, if they're really crazy and they really want to make a
That's even sicker than clicking punch, going Gar on the punch. That's even cooler.
Like I've seen people do that. They're crazy, man. They're crazy. They're out there.
But then they focus punch your Blissey coming in. Oh shit.
Yeah, bro. The mind games with that is crazy. Focus punch mind games are insane, man, and I love it. So what else do you want to talk about?
We might wrap it up. I actually have to play an advanced draft game right now, actually. So.
Oh, I'm sorry for talking so long.
That's fine. It's good content.
Bro, I could talk about T-Tar all day.
Yeah, we can just do the T-Tar podcast. Fuck it. Discussing the merits of different T-Tar sets.
Bro, I could go for hours about T-Tar, man. That mon is a very well-designed mon in ADV. One of the best well-designed ones.
This is the ADV Circle Jerk podcast, I guess.
Wait, what the fuck?
Yeah, ADV is awesome. Yeah, man.
Wait, it is. It's very good. I love it.
All right, let's wrap it up. You can check out AttackOnSamurott on YouTube. He makes good content. If you want some long-form bladdering stuff, he plays a lot of gens too. You can, if you're new to the...
I play everything.
Yeah, he plays pretty much everything. So if you want to get a sense of a certain metagame, he's probably got a video on it, so check it out. And I guess like on the next episode, I could get some questions for the audience. I think that'd be a good idea. So in the comments, you can ask away some questions about competitive, and I'll try and get a cool guest as well. I got some in mind that I want to ask, so stay tuned for more informative Pokemon content from Jimothy.
Jim, I just want to say thank you for allowing me to speak on this. I really do appreciate that. I feel like I don't really get invited to this stuff, but I do appreciate this, seriously. Thank you.
No worries, because I thought it was natural because you invited me to your channel, so I'll invite you to mine as well.
Thank you, man. Thank you. We gotta do another vid, by the way.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool to do like a multi-gen gauntlet or something. We'll do like a
multi-gen
best of one in every gen or something.
Oh,
that would be fun.
That's how you feeling? That's how you feeling?
That'd be cool.
Okay, I'm down. I mean, I want to do more ADV, but I'm down for multi-gen stuff.
Whatever you want. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. Like and subscribe and all that.
Be safe. Wash your hands and peace out.
The money got different 'cause of what I'm spending. The money got different.
Oh, it's
'Cause of what I'm
Magneton!
spending.
Whoa!
The money
KO
got
by one
different.
hit! It
'Cause
scattered
of what I'm
spikes!
spending. The money got different 'cause of what I'm spending.